All right, TikTok is not just for teens. You might think it is, but it isn't. It's not just for dances and trends like the Renegade. For a lot of people, TikTok is actually a source of news and misinformation. The average American TikTok user spends 82 minutes a day on the app, and that can be really dangerous. As the New York Times reports this week, experts are sounding the alarm that TikTok is rife with election misinformation ahead of the midterms. And there are some other challenges as well. Joining me now is co-director of Tracking Exposed, Mark Fadul. Also joining is the executive director of National Black Justice Coalition. Back with me, David Johns. Mark, I want to start with you. Look, TikTok gained notable popularity during quarantine because people had nothing to do but make these videos. And now it's amassed over 1 billion users across the globe. With that many users, misinformation is bound to happen, along with a lot of other issues that you have spoken about. How can TikTok manage some of the potential damage that could happen on the platform?
Yes, I mean, so TikTok has always claimed to be an entertainment platform, which sort of justified why they were not doing particularly a lot of effort to put sort of safeguards regarding the type of like disinformation that would spread on the platform. But it's now, I think, well known and well established that political content is inevitable on a platform that has more than 1 billion users. Therefore, I think it's definitely an issue that we're going to see during the midterms, and as we're going to see it also across other platforms.
Yeah, there's a few challenges, I think, here with TikTok, David. You were a Capitol Hill staffer. You worked for Senator Ted Kennedy for a number of years. The House in Congress on Capitol Hill, they said they advised their staff not to use TikTok because they're concerned this is a Chinese company and potentially they could be monitoring your keystrokes. And there was a really interesting profile on TikTok on 60 Minutes. I want you to take a listen to this exchange, and then we'll talk about the safety side of TikTok on the other side.
The patterns and the rhythms of the way that you strike the keyboard. It can basically say this device belongs to this user, and you can do a lot with that if you are a foreign government. Gen Z lives on this. Gen Z is going to grow up someday. Do we want all of that information sort of hanging out there for nation-state adversaries to scoop up, to integrate with other data sets?
I mean, this seems like a challenge and something that should be taken seriously with TikTok. I have to say, I sounded like a boomer this week because I was like, people don't get their news from TikTok. And my team was like, okay, boomer, but they do. And I'm just surprised to know it. What's your take on all this, David?
Yeah, Fred, we're getting old, and as the elders say, we don't keep on living. But not only do people get their news, but people are educated on platforms like TikTok, as well as YouTube, which is also popular amongst Gen Z and millennials. And we have to be mindful of the ways in which platforms, global platforms, and at the risk of being persnickety, we're talking about TikTok has 1 billion users each month. And so they have the ability through the algorithm, the data they're collecting. There's a lot of debate right now, not only on the Hill, but in the White House around protected data and ways that Commerce and the FCC might be able to do more. But China, as a controlling interest in ByteDance, has the ability to influence culture, commerce, and political behavior. And we, as a nation, have to be concerned about that, not only now, but in perpetuity. And again, this is not new. We saw in 2016, Facebook and Instagram sell ads to Russian bots who used disinformation and misinformation to influence the election, #ButHer emails. We also have seen how white supremacists have used platforms like Facebook to plan for an insurrection. And so we should all be concerned about this. And leaders on Capitol Hill and in state houses throughout the country should be doing more to ensure that we are all protected with regard to our data.
Yeah, and I think about the number of Black and Latino teens who use TikTok. And David, you brought up a good point. In 2016, the Internet Russia Agency spent millions of dollars trying to sow discord in the United States by targeting Black voters specifically. TikTok is certainly primed to do that. But Mark, you uncovered something about TikTok that I thought was really interesting about the racial algorithms and how they favor white features and white followers, et cetera. I'm curious your thoughts on that, because that's also a challenge, especially as you see young people chasing, faces that look like Instagram filters that are not very realistic.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So what was basically, it was just a small experiment which we had done regarding the recommender systems and the potential bias that it had in terms of recommending new accounts that are related to the one already followed by the user. And what we found out is that the algorithms tend to recommend profiles that look extremely similar to the profiles that the user is already following. And this is mostly due to the fact that the algorithm is following the consumption patterns of user, which tend to have like very sort of consistent preferences when it comes to appearance and features, including racial features. When they look at because TikTok is a platform that is indeed very appearance driven. Most of the content is sort of like selfie shots where you mostly see the person dancing or speaking. And so therefore the algorithm tends to reproduce the consumption biases that user can have, which can lead to having an algorithm reproducing also racial patterns, and including racial discrimination, because most of the most followed profile tend to be white, and if you're coming from other communities, it's harder.